Frank, I love it when I do work for SCORE as a SCORE mentor, and my clients, mentees through SCORE come back to me and we have conversations about lots of other stuff. So thanks for being one of those.
Thanks for inviting me, Teddy. I really appreciate it.
So you and I talked, and let me share the screen if you don't mind. Let's share a screen.
Sure, by all means.
So you and I talked about how you're using LinkedIn, and one of the things that you said that you were doing is you're gonna dress up your LinkedIn profile, make it a little bit more relevant to your target audience. But then you told me, you said, Teddy, I'm regularly, not fast and furious, good, but you're regularly making a new connection, but it really doesn't move past that click that you made a connection. Is that what I heard?
That is what you should have heard, because that's what I said. You did well, Teddy.
Why don't you think you're moving them past a connection? What do you think? Do you have any idea where the downfall is?
I do have an idea. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah.
But to your point, I'll probably hit 2,000 connections very soon. I'm at the 1,900 plus level. So yeah. I don't have a problem there. But what happens is I'll connect. These will be quality people, often potential prospects to my consulting practice.
Good.
But once I thank them for the invitation, and it's very cordial and pleasant, I at least don't follow up. I may be reached out by them at some point in the future for some consulting gig or something. But generally, I will not reach out to say, "Hey, Bob, how are you doing today? Just touching base with you," that kind of thing. And I kind of understand that to be the case. Yeah. But I'm a technical guy, or should be. I'm a technical guy. I don't do that kind of thing, and so I feel really a little bit uncomfortable about reaching out to some folks.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And there was a day where I had that same feeling, like, man, that guy's the CEO of the business and I'm just a sales guy. But I've gotten over that over time. And here's why. We all the same. We're all humans. We're on the same planet. We're obviously all heading in the right, not maybe not the right, but heading in the same direction, because the earth keeps spinning the opposite way all the time. We're all on this earth to achieve our goals and to do the things that we want to do. And there are people out there who could help us achieve our goals. And the goal of that whole thing is to find these people and then get into conversations with them. I have it, you may or may not be able to see above my head. It all starts with a conversation. And so somebody needs to prove me wrong. This is not the Westerns where you pull out a 6-shooter, you make it happen, but today in life, it all happens through conversation. You got to start there. And so let me give you a few tips, and these are not going to be hard. They're not going to make you sweat. They're not going to make you anxious or raise your blood pressure up so you're uncomfortable doing. But let me just give you a few ideas of what you could do as you build your network and look for ways to move a connection into the right conversation. What do you think?
I'm eagerly listening.
All right, so number one.
Hand and pad in hand.
Good, buddy. And I'm going to record this for you too,
Oh, terrific. Then I'll listen very carefully.
So number one, do not accept every LinkedIn connection you get until after you have engaged with the people who send you invites and find out who are they and what do they want. Every time I get an invitation from somebody, and by the way, I'm pretty good on the keyboard or the trackpad. I'll right click and open up this person's profile in another tab. I'll go look at it and see who the heck she is. I'll read her message. Thankfully, she gave me a message. The message is not really important, but at least she tried. I will, between the combination of looking at her profile, looking at her company, and reading what she said to me, if she said anything, that will help me decide what kind of message do I want to send back to her. Typically, my message, specifically in this context where she's not really giving me any real value for connecting, typically my message, Frank, which is scripted, watch this. I click on her name, and I use a tool called Text Expander. And Text Expander types all that text for me, so I don't have to type it every time, because it's generally going to be the same text every time. Hi, Shelby. How the heck are you? Thanks for the invitation. How did you freaking find me? I love to help people get more value on LinkedIn. What the heck can I do for you? And by the way, you've got to respond. Now, notice, Frank, I use much more pleasant words than that.
Of course.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Why do you want to connect beyond, I'd like for you to join my professional network? And so that's step one. Now, you can script that any way you want to script it. But remember, this is a business tool. The messaging should be business related as to what you have to find out what's the relevance, what's the purpose, what's the goal besides just building a network. That's step one. Always engage with the person. And if you use a copy and paste or a text expander or some keyboard automation tool, man, it's easy. You know, the same person, all I got to do is click on that. And I've already sent this person that message. How did you find me? I love to help people use LinkedIn. What the heck do you want? You need to respond. All right. And make it friendly. I'm hoping mine is somewhat friendly. And then,
yeah, sure, it's straightforward.
And then what that'll could create, I will offer to you most of the time it doesn't, but what it could create is for Shelby or Adita or Anna to come back and go, hey, Teddy, yes, I'm looking to achieve this goal. And maybe their goal was not relevant to me. Maybe it is. And that will, and based on their response, it will help me determine if I do or do not accept their invite. And I'll tell you,
takeaways there. Yeah.
More often than not, Frank, I do not accept their invites.
Oh, I do scrutinize my people who invite.
Yeah.
And I do. It's a pretty lean. It's people who are the right people. However,
All right. So
I do take away the, I do take away the message here, including especially the request for a reply. We're now engaging.
Yeah. All right. So if they don't come back with something meaningful, now I'll give you my practice, Frank. You don't need to adopt my practice. But if they do not come back with some meaningful reason for us to connect, something relevant besides I just want to build my network, then what I do is I then message them back. I'll position this message. I won't send it. But I use a tool, I use a message called follow. And it basically says, thanks for the response, if they did in fact respond. Otherwise, I delete that sentence. Please follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Quora. I hope you enjoy what I share here. So I like this. I solicit followers of all of those who send me invites who are not relevant enough for me to connect with.
I like that.
And by doing that, Frank, what that's done for me is it has allowed me to generate 22,000 followers. We're only about 2/3 of those. I think that's about right. Only about 2/3 of those are connections for less than 15,000. And so I would much rather have people follow me if they're not highly relevant to me, rather than they connect with me. Now, let me give you the one more reason why I send that message. The other reason I send that message is because a lot of these people, all they want to do is go straight for my wallet. And so I'm giving them the opportunity to tell me maybe through their, for me to decipher that reason through their messaging back to me. So if I determine that all they want is my money, then I'm going to invite them to follow me. Unless I absolutely need to talk to somebody in L Cloud or digital transformation, then I may accept the invite. Okay. So this helps me root out the people who are using LinkedIn invites to simply quickly sell. Now, here's step 2. And I told you about the follow button. If they respond back to me in an inappropriate, irrelevant way, then I just ask them to follow me, and I hit the ignore button, Frank, with no hesitation. But let's say they message me back and they say, oh my gosh, Teddy, I really do need to pay attention to you. Not that they need to hire me, because I love your style. Maybe they'll say to you, Frank, I absolutely love your style. I love the work that you do. I'm really interested in the programs and projects you're in. I just want to pay attention to where you're going. Well, that for me is an opening the door to accept the invite. But Frank, I do not accept the invite until after I've engaged back with them. So they message me, they say something that indicates to me that I should go ahead and connect with them. I'm going to respond back with them and say, Shelby, thanks for the response. I really appreciate it. I truly love what I do. If there's ever anything I could do to help you or your team or your company or your organization, please do not hesitate to contact me. I would love to have a conversation to find out how I can help you. That's much more than simply thank you for the connection.
Indeed.
Okay. Now, then I'm going to hit the accept button. Now, here's the next big thing. That cannot be the end of it. What I typically do is I will calendar 2 weeks later to go look at Shelby's profile, look at her company page, look at her employees. Then, now listen to these words, Frank. Then I do that from this page right here, my connections. I go down, I find the Shelby, let's say that she's in here. Then, depending upon the relevance, and let's use Alex, this is Alex Float. Dependent upon the relevance of Alex Float, his company, and me, my next engagement is going to be a telephone call. I'm going to call him and say, Alex, a week ago, you and I connected on LinkedIn. I really appreciate you connecting, but I realized we have not really talked. I've looked at your company page. I've looked at your website. I see some relevance and I have some interest in understanding a little bit more about what you're doing. And maybe during our conversation, there's something I could do to help you. Alex, comma, would you be open to a quick conversation in the near future? If so, here's my link to my calendar. Pick the best day and time for us to chat. My point is this: if all you do is say thank you and introduce yourself a little bit more through that connect messaging, and you don't do anything else, nothing else will happen.
That's me.
But in my context that I share with you, all I'm saying to Alex is, dude, we haven't talked. Maybe we should talk. If you want to talk, here's my calendar. And if he's highly relevant to you, Frank, do not resort to a LinkedIn message. Go to that dude's LinkedIn profile and look on his LinkedIn profile. I have permission to do this on mine, not everybody else's, and see if he has a phone number, see if he has a business email address, see if he has Twitter, see if he has a instant messaging or a Skype, whatever you can do to get in touch with him, and find a way to have a conversation with that person that you just connected with who could be highly relevant to your business. And there's nothing wrong with that, Frank, as long as you're doing this, inviting them to a relevant and meaningful conversation. If your message is, Hey, I'll go back to Alex. Hey, Alex, I got the best widget ever, man. It's this freaking big. It's bright orange and red, and it sits this way and lands that way. And you need to have this in your company. Let's talk about me selling it to you. Boom. That's stupid. But inviting your over and over and over again, inviting your ideal client, target audience who you've just connected with into a conversation is a powerful way to move the business forward. And it shouldn't hurt.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is real. This is real stuff, man.
I'm gonna give you one more thing to pay attention to. Pay attention. Let me go to somebody who I have permission to put his profile up. I have permission to my business partner. Pay attention to what's going on with him. If he's important to you, pay attention to what he posts. If he's important to you, pay attention to where he's going and what he's doing. If he's important to you, pay attention to when's his birthday. Okay. So that this right here is what's called an opportunity to engage. Dude, you're older than dirt, man. Happy birthday. Thought I would say hi. Hope you're doing fantastic. By the way, we have not talked. Let me know if you want to get together one day. No sales pitch, but if you do that over and over and over again in a meaningful way, it can create an opportunity for a richer conversation. What questions do you have, man?
I can't think of any questions. This is really, I'm, being a technical guy, I'm surprised that there's actually, even to the softer stuff, there's a way, isn't there?
There's a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes sense too. And, the thing I feel comfortable about is, to me, one of the things that I think causes reluctance, whatever, is, for my engagements, they have to be sincere. I'm not just gonna, and so, but I feel comfortable sincerely reaching out to these folks when I do believe that I have something to engage with them about and to offer them to help them, right? I feel comfortable with that. So
I may have told you about this in our score conversation. There's an old guy, he's dead now, been dead for a long time. And he wrote a book. The book was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Did we talk about that before?
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie has a little golden book. And I need to get my little golden book next to me. I've got it in my backpack. I carry it with me everywhere I go. And in his golden book, one of the rules, can't remember which rule it is. I think it's like number 8 or 9. It says, make the conversation all about the other person. Now, because I am a wordsmith and I play with words all the time, I adjusted Dale's statement. And I say it this way: make the conversation all about Frank until Frank gives you permission to make it about you. Because the moment Frank gives me permission to tell him a little bit about my business, I'm going to give him enough to get him to go, huh? Tell me more. Or whoa. Tell me a little bit more. Oh, wait a minute now. This might be relevant. Or Frank might just go, that's cool, Teddy. And then dependent upon how he responds to what I refer to as my 15-second introduction to my business, that will tell me that I either have permission to give him more or I should not share anymore. So remember that when your engagements through a LinkedIn messaging, telephone, email, whatever, do not assume you have permission to talk all about your business until you know you have permission. Anyway, that's my ideas for you, man. And my challenge to you, Frank, would be start doing that. Start engaging with them before you connect. By the way, you can't engage with them from your My Network page, from this image. You can't. You got to go, except for those who message you. See, I can't engage with Adina there. But if you go over here where it says CO18, not only do I have the ability to reply, but I have the ability to message. Everybody who sends me an invite, I have the ability to message them from this manage invitations page.
Interesting.
And Get Text Expander if you haven't already got it. It's a really inexpensive.
Oh, that looks very interesting.
Yeah. So, all right, Frank, those are my ideas for you. Start engaging with them up front. Ask them what you can do to help them. Engage with them directly afterwards beyond simply a thank you, and calendar a week or 2 weeks later to call or email them and go, Shelby, we haven't talked. Should we?
I like that. I like that. I shouldn't be surprised because you're a pretty clever guy, but I'm pleasantly impressed. So I'm not surprised that you impressed me.
All right, man.
And
Look,
I appreciate these. I'm going to take these to heart, Ted. They make sense to me. And I can see a mess being created in the future of communication and follow through and engagement. So I really appreciate you doing this for me. I was skeptical, but I really feel I'm taking something away of value, and I'm really grateful.
Thanks, buddy. Good. All right. Good stuff, man. We will talk another day. Thanks for your time. I'll see you later.
All right. Take care, my friend.